Don't worry.
The question everyone wants to know: how did Jimmy Garoppolo look to you? Like, you're blocking a lot.
Yeah, well, they're keeping him out of 11 on 11 for obvious reasons, but in the OTAs and phase 2 and all that stuff, and it's clear that he's been itching to get back, and the intensity in which he's going about his business, even with reps on air, he's ready to get after it, and he's been looking great. I'm not judging much of 7-on-7 film. That's not really my job, but from what I'm hearing, he's slinging it around out there and ready to go.
How's he dealing with the balance of getting the work in that he can while not overexerting himself?
Well, that's up to him and the trainers. I think he's doing a great job with that. Like I said, I think they're keeping him out of 11 on 11, so they're not straining him too much. But he's a guy that feels as though he needs reps. I mean, it's the same as everybody else. He's been out of the game for a while since his injury happened, and he's just itching to get out there. And it's going to be more of people holding Jimmy back than Jimmy holding himself back, probably.
Can you tell how much more drastically comfortable you feel in year 2?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been huge. Just taking a whole off season, and from the experience that I had last year, rewatching the film from all the games last year, and coming into a situation where you have a full grasp on what's going on in the offense and what's being told to you and how you're getting coached, and all the calls that need to be made, and the defense is in front of you. Having a whole year under your belt doing that makes things a lot easier when you hit the ground running day one.
What were the takeaways from you looking back at all 16 games, and was there anything that surprised you that you didn't know, anything that affirmed what you felt like you did know?
I think I just need to play more consistent football. I think throughout the year I showed, for the most part, played pretty good ball, but there was times that I let things go away and slip away, and I got to finish the season better than I did last year. I think I don't think it was necessarily a rookie wall or anything like that. I think it also had something to do with the 4 opponents that we had finishing the season. But it's a matter of being the most consistent and best football player that I can be, and that's just overall. I don't think I ever, go into an off season with just one specific thing. I mean, when you're watching film, you see things that are different on every play. So it's a matter of taking all that in a learning process and drilling it out and training your eyes to see what you need to see and getting it done.
What were your first impressions practicing against first Nick Bosa and second Dee Ford?
Well, to be honest, I haven't hit Bosa yet. I haven't touched him yet on the field, so still anxious to do that. But Dee's, I mean, he's everything he's advertised, man. He's in the elite class of his get off and the ability to get into people and take control of blocks, and I felt that for the first time in the run game today of how different he is in the timing and the fit on the edge there.
How so? What does he do?
He's just quicker, and he's strong as well. So the timing's off. If normally I'm hitting on a second step just a little bit later, and I'm still in control of the block. With D, you got to be as fast as humanly possible because he's that good at getting into you. But excited to get to work with him. It's only going to make me better. The rest of our tackles better. He's going to be special for us this year, and we're certainly glad he's on our side now.
From a tackle's perspective, what are the differences when a defensive line uses more wide nine techniques?
Well, it leaves us open and uncovered a little bit more and in space than we're used to. I think in pass pro, it's essentially the same because every time D ends in this league like to take as much ground as they can get to create space for themselves, and I'm not afraid to say that they're better athletes than I am, so they like to make me try and use more space and all that kind of stuff. And but the way we're using it looks like it's only been 2 days of it, but they're using it because we have athletes that can do it and really force and set the edge and keep things bottled in, especially in the run game and mixed in first and second down, and then just let the guys go loose in the pass rush. So I think for tackle it's just a little bit more space. You got to keep your eyes when you're in a combination a little bit more to the tight end because of the way that they play the wide nine. It's not like a wide nine and just sprinting up the field. They're setting the edge with physicality. So it's just a matter of playing in space and keeping your eyes where they need to be. And it's definitely going to be a nice little challenge with the athletes that we have on the outside.
With what you've said about D, do you see that really opening up things for DeForest and Eric up in the center?
Absolutely. I think I was down in Carmel on our 49er Foundation getaway or Golden Getaway, and it was the coolest thing for me was sitting in the coaches clinic and listening to coaches. I don't sit and listen to defensive coaches talk about football, and I got to sit and listen to Saleh. And one of his highlights was how D is just going to create space for people. And I think it's a huge example of that. It was last year in Kansas City. They had Chris Jones he came away with 13 or 14 sacks last year, and I think a lot of that has to do with who he was paired with on the outside. And DeForest is as special as it gets when it comes to playing defensive line in this league. And now that he's got somebody that takes away double and triple teams, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch those two get to work, and the rest of the line for sure.
What goes into being more consistent for you? Like, what were your points of emphasis when you were working out this offseason?
Well, one, just overall strength. I think I think last year, being a rookie and having all those rookie obligations and stuff in the spring, you don't get to really, focus on being a traditional offensive lineman. You got so many other things and hats to juggle. So it was nice to be able to, put like 15 pounds back on and feel myself being stronger in these first 2 days. Secondly, it's just, like I said, consistent footwork and timing and training your eyes and body of where they need to hit, when they need to hit, and just constantly working to be in the best position of leverage in every block. So I think those couple things, I think I got a little behind in some footwork late in the year with my run game and pass pro. I think I improved a lot, but it's just about a little bit more physical in pass pro, to be the controller in pass pro and getting off and with correct footwork and consistent footwork every time in the run game.
Are you and Joe okay? You seem pretty bummed that you went to Exos in San Diego.
Well, that was funny because the story that he told was that I was too fancy for him, and he didn't quite tell you into account that if you train at Exos for pre-draft, they give it to you for free. So I'm still on my college mentality and trying to save money and all that kind of stuff. So, but Joe was he was very, very forward in trying to attack me there, but I was at his house like 5 or 6 days a week when I was down there. So it's not like we didn't get enough of each other for sure.
What's the level of concern? Just, I know it's May and it's OTAs, but having so many guys miss time at this point.
You know what? It's tough because you want them to be in off season. You want them to get it's the only time of the year. These 9 or 10 practices are the only time of the year that you're allowed to play football without consequence and be live and get a feel for timing and things that I was just talking about. So obviously you want that for your guys, but the most important thing is to have them ready for training camp. And, the guys that we brought in that, are still sidelined or whatever are going to be so special and so key for us going forward because they wouldn't have brought them in here if they didn't know what they can do. So it's a matter of trust of the coaching staff and the players that are in that situation, and then the players, working their ass off to get back to where they need to be.